Okay, we're trying to understand. We got up to Loit Dem is Muvan der Chilek Zwischen Matza and Yayin, which is on page 44, second column, that little tiny paragraph near the bottom, second last paragraph. We had a question. The question was, why is it, the Mordechai asks, why is it that we don't take 4 matzahs corresponding to the RB Lashonis Geula? And the Rebbe answers first the answer of the Mordechai. Do you remember, anybody remember the answer of the Mordechai? Yesh Mefarshim. There are those that say...
Because there's the 4 languages.
That's the question.
Because there's the 4 corresponding cups.
Yifeh. There's the Arba cases of Yeshua. Case Yeshua says so. So the Arba cases correspond to those 4 psukim regarding kosot, regarding cups of salvation. So obviously that's not relevant to lechem. But the Rebbe then says, but I want to understand this. We should understand this relative to the main shita, which is and brought in Shulchan Aruch, the regular Shulchan Aruch, the Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, that the Arba Lashonis, the Arba cases are connected to the Arba Lashonis Geula. In order to understand that, we understand that there's now an aspect of Pesach that's 3, and there's an aspect of Pesach that's 4. Matzah obviously is 3, and wine is 4. What's matzah? What's yayin? What's 3? What's 4? So the first thing the Rebbe told us in order to understand that, is Gimel, and that's what we saw at the end of Shir last time, that the Yidden were not fit to leave Mitzrayim when they left. We did not deserve it. It came completely and totally from above, as it says in the pasuk, Nigla Lehem Melech Malchei Melachim. Kadosh Baruch Hu Olam. Kadosh Baruch Hu revealed himself to us and revealed us, right? Them. Okay? The Seder. And the ultimate shleimus of Yetzias Mitzrayim was when? When did Yetzias Mitzrayim ultimately reach a state of completion?
Oh.
No.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Matan Torah, right? And that corresponds to the 4th language. Still living in Purim, Doc. It's 2 weeks to Pesach. Let Purim go. Let Purim go.
Right.
You keep drinking for the next 2 weeks, you'll never get it done. You have to sober up and clean for Pesach.
I gotta clean.
So, you don't have to clean? Why don't you have to clean?
I'm going away.
You're going away? Where are you going?
Going on the East Coast here. The Chabad program.
What, here?
The West Coast, I mean.
What, here? In Eretz Yisrael?
Yeah, the West Coast.
Are you going to the Yam HaMelech? Kinneret? Something like that?
No, I'm going to the Mediterranean.
Oh, the Mediterranean. Yeah, Taka, the Mediterranean is the West Coast. Taka, okay. You're fair, the Mediterranean, West Coast. Be careful of the homeless.
You refuse to print the bottom of it, though.
Okay. Beseder. I need some volunteers to help me with books. So I'm going to come over 3-4 hours, take the books out. You've already done one of my shelves. If you come, you can do that shelf again. Poor me knocked over one of our bookshelves. It was an exciting time. No, you can never have people from Texas in your house. He left his steer outside. He came with a steer. We tied him up outside. He almost ripped the metal things off the windows, this steer. But and he gored the guy who went outside to be sick.
Oh, that explains it. There's a big metal steer outside my apartment.
There we go. There it is. It's Josh's. He brought it from Texas. You can imagine how hard that was to get on United Airlines.
Oh.
But then he just said, here, we could be one of the stewardesses. Oh, okay, fine. Can't tell the difference between the steer and the stewardess.
Fucking this sounds crazy.
United Airlines. Okay, so the completion of Yetzias Mitzrayim was Matan Torah, and that's the 4th language. I took you to me as a people. Okay, you'll have to put up with this wonderful cough that I've got. I apologize. It's more annoying for me to put up with it than you, I'm sure. Leit dem is movement der chelek zwischen matzah and yain, and based on this, it's understood the difference between matzah and yain. Okay, we know where we are. Page 44. left column, last paragraph. Matza is madgish. Matza emphasizes the geulas Mitzrayim, the geula from Mitzrayim, vi is gekumen. It's coming nit, not azoy mitzad der aveda from Yidden, not coming from the aveda of the Yidden, our aveda, nar, rather, in an oifen, in a way, fun from the Lashon Haggadah. What's the Haggadah say about matzah? We've seen it so often. Matzah zu sha'anu oichlim, this matzah that we eat, al shum shelo hispi b'tzeches aviseinu la'achmitz, because it didn't suffice the dough of the Yidden to rise. Now, what does that mean in Pneumius? Meaning our Aveda was not sufficient, like he speak. Our Aveda wasn't sufficient, and therefore what was necessary? HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to come and redeem us. Our Aveda wasn't sufficient, like he speak. Mitzad dem Eibishtim, all coming from the side of the Eibishtim. Matzah is verbunden mit chipazin. Matzah is bound up, verbunden, connected to, bound up, with chipazin, haste from the geula, right? We ran away. Why did we run away? We ran away because Mitzrayim still had a hold on us, because Mitzrayim still had power over us. So we had to run away. If someone's connected to something and wants to leave it, he has to run. If he rules that thing, he can walk away slowly, but if it rules him, he has to run. So we ran away from Mitzrayim. Lo hispik b'tzeka shalav v'seina la'achmitz. It didn't suffice our dough to rise. The chipazin, the haste, areis tzunumen, that we were taken out the Yidden from Tumas Mitzrayim, from the tomb of Mitzrayim. That's matzah. Matzah represents that aspect of geula, the aspect of geula that came from above and was imposed upon us. Not that it was bad for us, it was good for us, but it wasn't a function of our Aveda. We hadn't reached a state where we could slowly walk out of Mitzrayim because we no longer had any connection to Mitzrayim. No, we had a very powerful connection to Mitzrayim and had to be schlepped out quickly. And as we said earlier, we stay another moment, who knows what would have happened. And therefore means therefore. That's why you're, okay, by us it was a grandmother, by you guys it's a great-grandmother said, or maybe great-great, I don't know. Therefore, are you coming mit me? Right? So the mit you saw up here. Therefore. And therefore, muz matzah zayin alechem eini dafka. Therefore, matzah has to be a lechem eini. A bread now, eini is poverty, eini is affliction, right? Inui, the inuyim of Yom Kippur, not eating, not drinking. So, in this context, it's going to be poverty, but what's the poverty? Ein an dafka, ein ani. What's the true poverty-stricken person? Ein ani ela b'das. True poverty is when a person hasn't internalized his relationship with the Kadosh Baruch. And that
not internalized?
Ein ani ela, double negative, right? An ani is not but in das. In other words, the ani is the one who is not internalized. He's poverty-stricken. So that's the Yidden at the time of leaving Mitzrayim. Zeichel amatzav from anius in kedusha v'tara. A remembrance to a time of poverty in holiness and purity. Uba pashtus. What is this? What's also interesting about matzah? A lechem vos had nit kein tam. A lechem that has no taste. Now it has it. We'll see. We're going to see. It has the taste of matzah. It has no taste per se. What's matzah? Flour and water. There's nothing in there that gives it any serious taste. Right? Matzah shira. The Rebbe says, "V'matzah the matzah shira." Right? As opposed to matzah shira. Matzah shira is matzah made with fruit juice, which has a taste, which you can't be yetzer the mitzvah with. Right? It's all dear as to whether or not you can eat matzah shira this Shabbos, next Shabbos, the Shabbos that's Erev Pesach, so you can't eat chametz. Right? So can you make matzah on matzah shira? Now we don't make matzah. By us, matzah shira is a mazonis. So you can't be kaveh suda on it. Right? Some people say you can. The Rav Diskin in Haifa evidently is the source of this. It was a big dion in the Farbrengen in Shul yesterday about matzah shira on next Shabbos, on the Shabbos of the 14th. Right? Simple pshat matzah shira is it's not chametz, but it's all you can't wash. So what's matzah? Matzah has no taste. Val tam, what's taste? Weist auf an Inyan, was der Adam hat in dem a Geschmack. What's a taste? A taste represents an idea where a person has in it pleasure. Tam. Now, tam is also reason, right? But tam, in the simplest kinds, you have pleasure, it has a taste. Okay, so matzah doesn't have a taste per se. Tzival dos is mutam umuzbar. Now, also, taste comes from the word taste, in physical taste, also, the word tam means reason. And why is it that someone gets physical pleasure from it? Because he also understands that it has a good taste. But in this context, we're talking spiritually, that a person has an understanding of reality such that they get pleasure from their understanding. And matzah represents a level where the person hasn't reached that yet. Right? The person doesn't have a geschmack, doesn't have a pleasure. What? So the Rebbe continues, Zival dos is mutam umuzbar besichloi. Right? Because it's understood and explained in his seichel, meaning he's come to an intellectual understanding of something. Other are filled, therefore he feels in them, in this thing, a hergish, a certain feeling, v'chayus, and vitality, b'midesav, in his emotional attributes, which is where the pleasure expresses itself. And the pleasure is higher than both, but it expresses himself in a good feeling. Oh, so matzah doesn't give that feeling. Why not? Because matzah has no taste. Matzah is an experience where it's happening to me, but it's not so much a function of my own experience. Vibald, aber as the Geula from Tumas Mitzrayim, since the Geula from Tumas Mitzrayim is gekommen milamayla, is coming from above. The reality of matzah represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu freeing us. Excuse me. Nit mitzad der hachona derzu mitzad yidden, and not as a result of the hachona, the preparation derzu mitzad yidden, as if it's coming from the side of the yidden. It's all coming from above. Lo yismik b'tzekas avosenu. Our dough didn't rise. Our avodah was insufficient. The Kadosh Baruch Hu revealed himself and redeemed us.
Is this
I wish it were something in my throat that water would help.
Is this related to the parish that we were not zeicha Matan Torah or anything? We just
No, Matan Torah, yes.
No, Matan Torah. We weren't. We're sorry. We only received. I thought Matan Torah happened just because God said we were the chosen people and.
No. Yitzias Mitzrayim happened because of Kadosh, but this is Rashi's pshat that we said last time. Yitzias Mitzrayim happened because this is the way Rashi understands the answer that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives Moshe Rabbeinu at the sneh. Moshe asks, why do they deserve to get out? And the Eibishter says they don't. But they will have retroactive merit from Matan Torah. Once they receive the Torah, you'll see they deserve to get out because they're going to work on themselves very, very hard between this event and Matan Torah, and they'll be fit to get the Torah, and that will be their schus for getting out of Mitzrayim. But now, you're right. I mean, the sneh happened the year before, but now, and that it goes all the way up until Tes Vav Nisan in the year 2448, no merit. That's Rashi's pshat in the whole story. And that's how the Rebbe is learning here. And that's what matzah is. Matzah is that level. There's no taste. It's not part of me. I haven't internalized it. Right? Geula happened to me, but not in me. Yet. Is move on. Therefore, since matzah has no taste, therefore matzah represents that aspect of geula where I don't experience it, is move on. As it is by ze nitgeven, there is by them, nitgeven, there is by them that it isn't, a tam in them, a taste in it. In other words, there's no taste in matzah, because matzah represents that level of Yetzias Mitzrayim where we haven't internalized it yet. It's not part of us. We're not getting a pleasure from it. It's happening to us. That doesn't mean we weren't happy that this was happening. We sang at the sea. We had reached a slightly higher level by that point, but still not the level of Matan Torah. Avadim ayinu leparim b'Mitzrayim. We were avadim up until the last moment. Even though interesting enough, the work ended Rosh Hashanah. As of Rosh Hashanah, we were no longer at work. We didn't have to go to work after Rosh Hashanah. Another 6 months later until we actually left. After 3 makkos, the work was over. But we were still avadim. Avde befkera nichale, and an eved, a state of ownerlessness is good for him. In other words, he's very happy to have no responsibility, to not do anything. If you tell an eved he's putter from something, he's more than happy. If you tell him he has to do it, he'll do it. Right? Nothing's going to stop him from doing that which he has to do. But if you tell him he has the day off, oh, he's so happy. Avde behefkera nichale. What's the example of that in Avodas Hashem? For most men, tell men they don't have to say tachnun and they get all excited. Oh, yay, I get to do less. They're all excited. No tachnun? Ah, Baruch Hashem. It's 45 seconds. I mean, why is a minute? How long does tachnun take? Okay, Monday, Thursday, it's 5 minutes. Right? Say that. But why are we so excited? If it's a day of tachnun, you say tachnun? Of course you say tachnun. Why? You say tachnun. Right? Those things not saying tachnun. Okay, so you say tachnun. But what about if someone comes along? Not today. Today, there's more to do. There's supposed to less to do. But tomorrow. So tomorrow, you're not going to say tachnun for the next month. Okay, everybody's so excited. Yay. Less is best. That's abda befkera nichalen. The Eved will do it when he's told to do it, but if he doesn't have to, he's very happy. Va'afilu b'tesvav Nisan, even on the 15th of Nisan, ula acharav, and the days afterwards, is by zay, it's by them, nach verblieben von ra, it still remains from the evil, v'tumas Mitzrayim, and the defilement of Mitzrayim. Unes is given baracham, and that's why they fled, untlaffen from Mitzrayim. They flew away. They flew away from Mitzrayim. Why'd they fly away? Was das meint, the Aroiskein von Ra, b'derech iskafia, it said Kabbalah soul. They're going out from Ra on a level of iskafia. Kabbalah soul. Why are they going out? Because it's time to go out, because the Rebbe said go out. Have they brought themselves to a point where they appreciate this event in a truly panemiastic way, in an inner way? No, they're not there. They're not there. Does that mean they're upset to go out? They're not upset to go out. Kabbalah soul doesn't mean you're depressed. Kabbalah soul is besimcha. But it's still Kabbalah soul, because I'm not feeling exactly what I'm supposed to feel relative to this particular event. Okay, we say that I'm doing it because God said do it. Okay, God said go out, so we're going out. Baruch Hashem, we're happy to go out. I like this. This is good. But it still hasn't been internalized to the point that they themselves are out. Their bodies are being schlepped out, but their whole mitzias is still connected to Mitzrayim. That's Matza. Mashein kein yayin. What's yayin about? Vos hatatam. Wine has a taste. There's a thing called wine tasting parties. There's no such thing as a matzah tasting party because there's no taste. That doesn't mean that matzah doesn't have a specific taste. And there will be matzahs that taste like a little better matzah than a little worse matzah. Right? The matzah that the yeshiva give you, I'd imagine, is going to be the simplest, the thick Kfar Chabad matzah. Sometimes it's okay, but last year was just ala panim. I mean, sometimes it's really horrible. That's the cheaper stuff. If you get it for free, you can't complain. So, but if you're going to buy matzah, don't buy the thick stuff. Buy the thinner stuff. Buy the stuff for 18 minutes miyah shulchan or whatever it is, right? Because it's just better matzah. Right? It's thinner. It'll taste a little better. It's less stale. Also, the stuff they start making Hanukkah is the regular stuff. And then they have special runs. Okay. So wine has a taste, a geschmack, right? It tastes good. It's nice. Some people really like the taste of wine, right? Bizaz as ruft al roish shira bayim. Therefore, you say song. Adam Ashesa. A person who drinks wine breaks into song. You don't say shir el al yayin, as I'll say. That yayin changes a person's panemius. Oh, that's exactly the point. Yayin represents that aspect of Mitzrayim, that we're part of it, and it's part of us. Is esa zecher legeula lechedus. This is a remembrance to redemption and freedom. Oich vizi had sich soif soif. Also, as it has soif soif, finally, oif getan befeil, been brought about in actuality by Yidden. Now we're tasting it. We're part of it. We feel it. We're nigal gevorn is the language often used. We are nigal. We're already redeemed. Mamish. Not that our bodies were taken out of a place where we were enslaved, but our whole being is connected to Geula. Azeh, the Yidden. Mitzad zera avoda metzias, in terms of their avoda and their metzias, their service and their existence. Zainen nigal gevorn, there's the words. Beautiful words. Nigal gevorn, they're redeemed from the Merah from Mitzrayim. That's Yayin. Yayin represents the level in which we've internalized it all. Matza is when it's imposed upon us. Not that it's bad, it's great, it's amazing, but it's still imposed upon us. Yayin represents the level in which we have a taste in it. We have a geschmack in it. It's part of it's part of our conscious reality. Oh, now we still don't know 3-4, but we know matzah wine. But we have a hint of 3-4. What's our hint to 3-4 already that we've seen? What does the fourth language of Geula relate to? Matan Torah. That's the end of the process. That's already the yayin of it. That's when we've internalized it all. The first three languages represent what happened in Mitzrayim. The fourth language represents what happened a month and a half later. Manyen. So somehow there's 3 and 4, and 3 is a level in which we don't experience it, and 4 is a level in which we internalize it. Okay. How that works, we don't know. But we have seen that. We could guess at that one. Okay. Don't have to guess what it means, just we've been aware of it, that connection. Okay. Al Pizeh, based on this, that man, first time, a person, that is future tense, a person can understand. Then tam, the reason for a chiluk, for the difference, zwischen, between, the mispar hamatzes, the number of matzahs, gimel, mispar cases, the number of cups, daled. Now the Rebbe's going to say we just said it, but he's already said it. He's going to point it out again in case we missed it. In the Daled Lashenis from Geula, Shel Geula, in the 4 languages of Geula, is Do Achiluk. There's a difference. Zwischen, what's zwischen? Between. The erster drei Lashenis, the first 3 languages, und dem vierten and the 4th. The erste drei Lashonos, the first 3 languages. Now the Rebbe's going to say the whole pasuk. I took you out from under the burdens of Mitzrayim. And I saved you from their work. And I redeemed you with an outstretched arm and with great wonders. Those 3 languages. Zayin in Yoneh Geula, these are aspects of the Geula, Velcha Zayin Gevarn, that are bowed by Yetzias Mitzrayim. Only by Yetzias Mitzrayim. Val Ze Zayin Gekumen Milamayla, and they come from above. Now it's interesting. The next line was also Lakachti, I took you. But the Rebbe is going to point out, these 3 are I did to you, I did to you, I did to you. I, the Lakachti is also I took you. Okay, the Rebbe's going to explain the difference between that one and these three. So these three are all, I did this to you. I saved you, I redeemed you. It was all me. Okay, so then why don't we say the same thing by lekachti? The Rebbe's going to explain. I took you. It's also you. So the Able to do it. Masha Inke. This is why I didn't daven from the Amud on Shabbos.
Are you normally chazal?
No, usually I avoid it like a plague. But no, a friend had yortzeit actually, so he davened every daven. This is not his yortzeit. But I couldn't have if I wanted to. I croaked my way through an aliyah, which was fine. Because Daled Nisan is Adina Elka's 8th birthday, and she lives in Australia, and her father doesn't have a minyan every Shabbos, so I'm usually the one who gets to get the aliyahs, which is fun. So I got the aliyah before her birthday. Mashen came there fartin farter, sorry. The fartin is at the end of something, right? After you've explained it. You noticed Eibishtin instead of Eibishter. Eibishter is the word. If you use it at the end of a series of, I don't know how to say it grammatically, but if it's the end of a sentence or end of an idea, then you'll put a nun instead of a resh or whatever. Like we saw earlier, fartin, firtin, the fourth end. But here, farter, fourth, same word. Mashen came there, ferter inyan. The fourth inyan, v'lakachti eschem li la'am, chatzt oich da, even here, also here, the Rebbe says, vert gezogt, it says v'lakachti, right? Which is milamayla, from above. But what? Is this ober, but this is, however, uphangik. What do you think that word means? Uphangik. What's the root? The middle of the word. Hanging. Oh, it's hanging. It's dependent, not hanging. Uphangik. Right? It's dependent from Yidden, on us. That what? Zay, Darf, and Varen, they have to become Ra'ui, fit, Suzain, Li, La'am, to be for me a people. We have to be someone who the Eibishter can call his people. That's after all the work of Svir Sa'im. So yes, it's the Eibishter taking us, but he's taking us because we're fit to be taken, because we're now ready to be an his Right? Whereas the first three languages are, I took you out, I imposed all of this on you. Again, we're happy that he imposed it on us, but it came from above. It all came from above. It says, they have to become fit to be for me a people. Und das hat sich erst aufgetan befeuert, and this had erst first aufgetan, come about, befeuert in actuality. Tan means to do. B'shleimus by Matan Torah. When did that happen? Matan Torah. So the first three Lashonos are the level of Mitzrayim, of Yetzias Mitzrayim, where we don't have any tam. The Eibishter took us out, and that relates to Tesvav Nisan, and that's Matza. The fourth language is the language of Lakachti, and Lakachti, even though it also is I took, the first three, the emphasis on I took, I saved you, I redeemed you, I took you out, not mitzaras. Also this one, I took you. But he took us because we were fit to be taken, because we were already an Am. But Lakachti eschem li la'am, to me as a people, we had to be fit to be li la'am. We had to be fit to be in that state. And that happened only by Matan Torah, and that's the fourth level. And that's the level when we internalized it. Right? We had internalized the Geula to such an extent that now it was part of us. We were Nigal Gevarn, as the Rebbe said. Und der Rebbe, another word for therefore, is Matza b'mispar Gimel. Therefore, Matza is Gimel. Keneged the erster drei Lashonos of Geula, that corresponds to the first three Lashonos of Geula. So it is, but Manyan, right? What was the question of the Rebbe does these things, he does it so quietly and subtly. What was the question of the Mordechai? Why isn't matzah keneged the arba l'shenis of geula? What did the Rebbe just say? It is. Just the first three. Yes. The Rebbe didn't even say that's what he's saying, but that's what he's saying, right? The question was, why not 4 matzahs as opposed to 4 cups? Right? Because this is derisa, this is derisa. What's the answer? Definitely matzah is corresponding, matzah which is a derisa is corresponding to the 4 lashonos of geula, but it's not corresponding to the 4th lashon, only the first 3, so there's 3 matzahs. Now, we're going to see what 3 is and what 4 is also. Right? But that's the reality of matzah as opposed to yayin. So the answer to the question is, it taki is keneged daled l'shonos. It's only keneged gimel l'shonos, because it's only relevant to gimel l'shonos. Because the 4th lashon is relative to a level in which we've internalized it, and that's not shaykh to matzah, that's shaykh to yayin. Now, the question does arise at this point, at some point in this whole thing, the question arises. So why don't we drink 4 cups of wine on Shavuos? That's when 4 is revealed. Right? Okay, the Rebbe will deal with that at some point. But you might ask that already. Say, wait a minute, hold on. If the 4th cup is Shavuos, so then three on Pesach and 1 on Shavuos, which makes no sense. So commemorate the 4th level on Shavuos by drinking 4 cups on Shavuos. We'll see. Okay? Und der Rebbe is Matza b'mispar Gimel, and therefore Matza's mitzvah keneged the erster 3 lashonos of geula, corresponding to the first 3 languages of geula. So it is keneged. So amazing. The Rebbe doesn't even say that he's saying that, but he said it. Keneged the first 3 lashonos of geula. Val in matzah is mudgash, because matzah is emphasizing the geula, page 46. The geula, wie kommt, as it comes, mitzad dem Eibishten, as it's coming from above, the Eibishten. Oh, okay. Now, we don't know why 3. We know why 3 relative to the 4 languages, that the first 3 are relevant to what happened on Tesvav Nisan, and the 4th language is relevant to what happened on Shavuos. Matan Torah, it's not really Shavuos, right? Matan Torah wasn't necessarily Shavuos. You know? Shavuos is, what's wrong there? Right? Matan Torah was either the 6th or 7th. Well, it was either the 6th or 7th of Sivan, depending. It's a machlekes Chachamim and Rabbi Yossi. Right? It was Matan Torah the 6th or 7th. Shavuos, in our calendar, Shavuos can only fall out on the 6th of Sivan. The first day of Shavuos can only fall out on the 6th of Sivan. But that's because our calendar is an ordered calendar. Shavuos is 50 days, is the 50th day after Pesach. So when can that be? Now, it depends on the calendar. That could be the 5th of Sivan, the 6th of Sivan, or the 7th of Sivan. How? Well, if you start counting from the 16th of Nisan, if there's only 30 days in Nisan, then you get 14 days in Nisan. 14 or 15? 15. You get 15 days of Nisan. Right? If there's 29 days of Nisan, like the month we just finished. Others are 29-day month. Other base is always a 29-day month, the second other. You noticed in the Yom Yom on Shabbos that you had 3 Yom Yoms, because other Aleph is usually 30 days and other base is 20 days, because our months stagger, right? 30-day, 29-day, 30-day, 29-day. Why is that? Because the lunar cycle is 29 days, 12 hours, and a couple of minutes. So every 59 days, there's 2 cycles. And you can't have a half day Rosh Chodesh, so some months have 2 days Rosh Chodesh, meaning some months have 30 days. So the 30th will be Rosh Chodesh, like Shvat had. 30th day will be Rosh Chodesh, and the first day will be Rosh Chodesh of the next, 31st day will be the first day of the next month. The month we just finished, Adar, so Adar had only 29 days, right? That's why you said 2 days of Tehillim yesterday also, for the 30th. So Adar only had 29 days. So that means the next month we'll have 30 days. Now, but what if Nisan were only a 29-day month? But it can't be. But okay, it could be. If you're going by Re'iyah, someone shows up in the Beis HaMikdash and says they saw the moon and the 30th day could become Rosh Chodesh. Okay, the first day of Iyar. Okay, so let's say there's 29 days in Nisan, so that would mean there's 15 days. You guys keep count. 15 days of Nisan are part of Eimer. Started counting on the 16th, you count until the 29th. And then Iyar is also a 29-day month. Okay, so then you've got up to 44 days on Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Rosh Chodesh Sivan, you've counted 44. Rosh Chodesh Sivan is 45, Beis Sivan is 46, Gimel Sivan is 47, Dalet Sivan is 48, Hey Sivan is 49, so the 50th will be Vav. We made a mistake somewhere. Right, because it shouldn't be, it should be one.
I don't know, you double counted 44.
Right?
You double counted
So 45, 46, 47, 48, 49.
5, 46, 47, 48, 49.
Right, doesn't matter. Anyway,
Yeah, but
You get the point.
if they're both 29-day months, then Vav Sivan ends up being Shurs. And if they're both 30-day months, then Hey Sivan ends up being Shurs. And if one's 29 and one is 30, which is how it always works, then Vav Sivan ends up being. So the Shurs didn't. Shurs and Matan Torah aren't necessarily the same day, but I mean they are now. Okay,
Wait,
so
how do you get to the 7th of Sivan? Or it's never the 7th?
20, there it is, 29, 29.
Oh.
If it's two 29-day months, we just did the counting wrong. It's only, I guess it's only 14 days it's only 14 days in Nisan.
Yeah.
16 to 29, you get 14 days in Nisan. 29 is 43 days at the end of the year, then you have 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. That's Vav, then the 50th is Zion. Okay? So, anyway. So let's just get up to Hay. The 4 cups of wine. Vivald ze zayin and merames, since they're hinting at uf dem geula to the geula, vizi hat zich oifgetan, that it was brought about durch, through, in and in Yidden. Zayin and zei b'mispar daled. They're daled. Keilel oich, including also them fertin loshen, the 4th language of lakakte eschem lila'am. So now, relative to 3 and 4, we understand 3 and 4 relative to the 4 languages of Geula. The first 3 languages of Geula represent that aspect of Geulas Mitzrayim which was all from above. The 4th level represents that level of Geulas Mitzrayim that we have already internalized. Therefore, 3 matzahs, and that's shaykh to no tam, no internalization, no geshmak, no taste for us. The 4th is muyayin, a geshmak, it has a taste, it's internalized. Nichnas yayin yotzasoid, it becomes part of you. That's the 4th level. Now, why 3 and 4? We don't know. The Rebbe is going to explain that to us tomorrow. Umihai taima, and for this reason, is nar achilas matzah mina Torah. Only achilas matzah is mina Torah. Why? Val by Yitzias Mitzrayim, because by Yitzias Mitzrayim, Lela Pesach. On Lela Pesach, what levels of Geula have we experienced? Only 3. The 4th one's hidden. The 4th one hasn't happened yet. Only 3 levels of Geula have been experienced on the Tesvav Nisan. So what aspect of Geula does the Torah tell us to celebrate? The first 3 levels. Matzah, 3 matzahs. The levels that have no time. The levels where we haven't internalized it yet. Because that's what's happening in actuality on Tesvav Nisan. Where were we on Tesvav Nisan in the year 2448? Only on the 3rd level. Again, we don't know what those 3 levels are yet. We'll get there. Why 3? Why 4? We'll get there. Okay, but in the meantime, there's a level of Yitzias Mitzrayim that shaykh to 3. That's the level that hasn't been internalized yet. That's the level that's revealed on Tesvav Nisan. Therefore, the mitzvah d'oraisa on Tesvav Nisan is to relate to those 3 levels. What's that? Matzah. The level that has no tam. We haven't internalized it yet. Along comes Torah Shabbat Peh and reveals there's also a 4th level that hasn't come into revelation yet, but it will, and that's going to happen later. Wow. Der erste 3 inyanim. That's the first 3. Matzah is a din d'oraisa. Why? Because what level is revealed completely on the 15th of Nisan? Matzah. The first 3 levels. What hasn't been revealed? 4th level. Along come Chazal and reveal it. Okay, beseder. Why? Again, why do they tell us to do it in Pesach and not tell us to do it on Shavuos? We'll see. Okay, but the first three levels, that's why matzah is deraisa. Yain is there's no din deraisa for yain. Why should there be a din deraisa for yain? Right? there's no expression of the fourth level, the tam of the whole experience yet. Okay. Now the next thing the Rebbe has to do for us is to explain what's 3 and what's 4. Why not 2 and 3, 5 and 6? Why after 3 and 4? Okay, we'll see that.
Is also this Chazal's answer going to answer why? Seemingly from the same answer, you could also reach the conclusion that putting aside the idea that wine connected to town, you could reach the same conclusion that wine should really be 3 as well. So is Chazal when you come to explain why wine is?
Well, but the whole idea is the yain's 4. The whole idea is the yain is dafka tam, and so it's the fourth level. That's exactly what it. But so then why are you doing that on Pesach? Why aren't you doing that on Shavuos?
Yeah, fine.
Right, but yain is not 3 by definition. Whatever. Now we're going to see what 3 represents and what 4 represents all over Chassidus. Right? Okay, amazing, incredible. Right. The Rebbe doesn't say it here, so I'll throw it in. Right. Yud K Vav K, 4 letters of God's name. There are 3 levels that are completely transcendent. Yud K Vav. The 4th level is the level that's responsible for immanent reality, Malchus, for revealed reality. That's the 4th level. So Matza is Yud Kei Vav. It's all transcendent. It's all coming from above. There's nothing happening there. It's happening to us, but not in us. When does it come into us? That's Malchus. That's the 4th level. Okay, but the Rebbe's going to explain that in a different way that explains Yud Kei Vav Kei also. But it's not going to talk about it in those terms.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to mikveh. Never tasted the Mayanot mikveh. Do I have to swallow the water like it's a... Oh, amazing! Shechianu v'kimanu v'yad v'zman hazeh. Well done, gentlemen.
We'll get it to you like tomorrow.
I want you to know, the last time I did this in Mayanot, I don't remember, it was years ago. It had to be 15 years ago. That I gave questions at the end of a mimer.
No, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah?
4 or 5 years ago.
You remember?
Basi Lugani.
Okay. I didn't get one back.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, then it was 10, 15 years ago that I didn't, because wait, what's going on here?
By the way, for the record, the whole class has done something at least.
No, I know, I